Another kit in here,
There is.
just in case.
Just in case. So you can see how much you can fit.
Right.
Right. So there's that good stuff. And then one of the other great things about the sew along too is that at the end you can also share with us yours, or you can play along and use your own fabrics and choose your own colorway.
Which I love to see that too.
I know. That's one
so
of my
fun.
favorite things, is seeing how folks take your quilts and turn them into all kinds of beautiful colors.
Right.
So the kit is awesome, and you can make it just like this, or you can show us your own using hashtag MSQC show and tell.
Yep, perfect.
Okay.
So let's make sure we got everything here.
Okay, so far we're here. Do we have any questions coming in from y'all?
Any questions from you all?
Y'all.
So nice to see Liz instead of hearing her behind the camera.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Lots of we love block.
Yay,
Nice.
we do.
Donna just purchased the Staccato Star Kit. She can't wait to get started.
Awesome.
It's very fun.
Awesome. And it's actually a real treat to be on with you, Jenny.
Well, Liz and I used to work really closely together, and then she moved over to Block, and she's doing all kinds of things for them over there, and it is fun to be together.
It is. This
yeah.
is a treat. So we're going to talk a little bit, speaking of one of those, we have started doing what we're calling a community connection. And this upcoming issue, which we're celebrating today, features a community connection with a group out of the South Central Correctional Center called the Restorative Justice Program. And so this is in Licking, Missouri. Inmates can be part of this program and can give back to their communities. And one of those ways is by making quilts for foster kids.
That's so cool.
And
That's so cool.
in Missouri alone, there are 20,000 children enrolled in the Missouri foster care system.
just
So you
breaks
can
my
see
heart.
that this has such a great impact, both on the inmates who get to choose the child they're going to design something for, design a quilt, and then using fabric and batting and backing and even
this
yarn,
quilt.
make these things for the foster children that they've designed, and the foster children then get this package that was made just for them. And it's
That's
such a
so cool.
special piece for both.
It really is. And we know, as quilters, we know how healing that is.
Yes.
And so on both sides of the board. So here's these children who may or may not have anything
Right.
that is their own, and all of a sudden they have this quilt, this ownership. They will keep it forever. And then the person who makes that also, you know, you feel that,
Gets to
that
pour into
joy,
that.
and you get to pour your emotion and love into that quilt as well, which
Yeah.
really makes it a very special thing.
It really is special. And so
And
we're
so there's
excited
an
to share
article
that
in
with-
Block about that.
Absolutely. So you can see more in the Block issue about that program, and there's also going to be a link in that to donate if you so find yourself a stash that you don't love anymore and could go on to find a good
It's
home.
such a great thing to do. We all buy fabrics, you know, in the heat of the moment that we
Yeah.
love then,
Totally
but
love.
sometimes we don't use them all, and we do always have some, you know, that you know, you can even swap, you know,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
love that giving part of it. I'm always going through things, and especially, you know, one of the things we talk about in Block this month is the organizational part of it.
Exactly.
And I'm constantly going through my stuff and, you know, paring down and figuring out what I really like. Now, one of the things that's hard for us as quilters, though, is that we generally make quilts for other people. So it's not necessarily fabric we love, but it's fabric, you
We know, oh, I know someone
I
who
know
loves
somebody
this.
who will love this, or somebody's having a baby, somebody's graduating, somebody's getting married, you know, and you need something that will work for that. And so, well, that's why I think a lot of us hang on to things like that. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
pretty cool article, pretty cool story.
Yeah, and so then that also is true, like this whole issue is themed around like spring organization. And so the idea of what can you look at as far as, can you say, I want to change the way this is laid out, or what kind of quilter am I that I can embrace? And so, you know, am I a messy quilter? Am I can't start until everything is neat and tidy quilter? And so we've got a little, kind of almost a fun quiz in here
Oh,
about
very
that.
fun.
But one of the things that we know is you're going to have sometimes fabric that you can find a new home for. And one of those great new homes is finding a
Our
charity.
correctional facilities,
Yeah.
or any charity,
Yeah.
any charity, you're
Yeah.
absolutely right.
So we're excited to feature this one in this issue. And if you have others you'd like to nominate, like let us know about great organizations. We're featuring a community connection in each issue.
Liz, do you have a microphone on?
I do.
Okay.
Is it not?
Just
turned
making
on?
sure. No,
Okay.
I'm just making sure. We can hear her, can't we? Okay, good.
Good.
All right. So I just didn't see it on your neck, and I was
No,
like,
it fell down just a little, so we're just not
Okay.
going to go digging for
we're
it.
just not going to do that right now. The joy of live.
All good.
And Liz is now very red. She matches
Yes.
my shirt.
That's what I
It's
do.
a good thing you're in the gray.
Right?
No, I love it. I'm sorry. I probably shouldn't have asked, but all of a sudden I looked over there and I was like,
Oh, no.
nobody's going to hear Liz.
Oh, no. No,
Can
it's
you
good.
talk about the sew along again and show the kit?
Yes, absolutely.
So this is the Staccato Star. Wait a
Yep.
Staccato Star Sew Along. The pattern appears in block every month. A pattern will appear. This is the kit to make the whole thing. This is the quilt right here, and this is the kit to make the whole thing. So, like, say you didn't want to buy the kit, when you get your first block of the year, there's a pattern, and it will tell you the fabric that you need in there, like if you want to do it on your own. But if you want to make yours that looks like ours, then this is the kit you need.
Yeah.
And so, Staccato Star Sew Along.
Nice.
See, I'm watching
Very
it.
nice.
Making sure there's a monitor here so I can see if I'm actually pointing to the right thing. And it is supported by an MSQC YouTube tutorial. Very cool. All right. So that's the Staccato Star. Anything else on this, Annie? Anything
Not
else
on
you want to
that.
know?
We have
All
a
right.
lot of love for Mod Block. A lot of
Nice.
questions about whether it's going to come back.
Oh, so actually, they're kind of changing the whole direction of Block. And so Mod Block used to be one issue a year that you did, and this is for people who don't know, one issue a year that we did in addition, and we would actually contact designers and say, here's this block, here's this tutorial we did, see if you can make it modern. And they would send in something, and it was very fun to see that sort of thing. Ron tends to be a little bit more modern quilter, and so he always did something in block. So they're actually kind of, the direction of block is kind of changing a little bit, and so I think there'll be more of that included rather than a whole different edition.
Exactly. You're going to see a little more variety in the projects, and some will be larger quilts and some will be the smaller projects too, because that's something we heard from you, that you'd like to see projects that you can maybe pause and do in a day or an afternoon, and then other projects you can take your time on and spend.
And it used to be specifically for my tutorials, and now it's got kind of a life of its own. So my tutorials will still be in there, but probably not all of them.
Right.
And so, but then they'll do other projects, because if I'm making a quilt, it's going to be big. And so we had a whole magazine of big quilts, and people are like, could I just have a smaller project? And so we're putting a lot of different projects in there, and that's kind of fun. So my stuff is still available with a pattern. You know, you can get the pattern if it doesn't happen to be in block, but you know, block is still going to feature some, and we have some even to show them.
We do, in fact.
Are we to that point?
We are. Such a good segue. All right, so we'll start with a
All right,
book called
move my chair.
Periwinkle Plates.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so speaking of, we brought both the quilt that's going to be in block and your tutorial quilt, so we can show you.
This is a tutorial I did called Periwinkle Plates, and this uses our Periwinkle template. And this was the one I did for the, yeah, let's do it long, and then they'll get to see more.
Yeah.
So this is the one I did for the tutorial, and it's like a Dresden plate, but I used the whole periwinkle, and because it has a point they all sew together, you don't need a circle, you're not hiding anything. So I used the large and the small template, and when they made it for block, you know, I love what happens when you make it for block, because it's like, you know, it's such a different mindset. And so the background on this is the dark color, and the blocks are, let's go here.
Yep.
And the blocks are lighter. So look how cool this is. Look at the different patterns that appear because it's large. Like, I never noticed this oval, you know, with
But
this
it
guy
stands
here.
out more.
It stands out more. Yeah, it's just gorgeous.
And one other thing we did on this one is we also show you a mitered border.
Oh, the mitered border. Yes.
So up here in the
Here, wait, here,
corner.
let me get in real close.
There you go.
That
Perfect.
mitered border. Well, who do I look at? Over here. So you see with the
Yay.
mitered border, there's a seam that goes right out to the point. Ah.
And
Yeah, I'll probably never do that, but a lot of people like a mitered border,
Yes.
you know?
And if you want some help with this, Courtney, who is also on our staff, has done a video, and we will link that in the digital issue.
Oh, very cool.
So you'll be
very
able
cool.
to click through and say exactly how to
She's
do
so
that.
talented. All right,
Oops,
oops.
now I've made it twisted.
There we go. Here
there
we
we
go.
go.
All right, so these are going to be in, or this quilt will be in block. I'm just going to put them over here.
Okay, perfect.
And then you can be getting more, and
All
I will
right.
just carefully lay that over there.
Beautiful.
Any thoughts about why the chandelier quilts have taken off like a rocket?
Isn't that amazing? Isn't that amazing? That is so fun to me. Well, first of all, it's a very stunning quilt that is so easy. But they literally have a life of their own, and people, I love seeing them. I love seeing the background. Plus, it's a free pattern.
Right.
And people love that too. But I think free doesn't matter as much as the ooh-ah factor, and because it's put together on point, it really has that ooh-ah factor. So I keep telling people, and I want to, I'm going to do a tiny one out of
That would be very
tiny,
cute.
tiny squares.
And who is the designer for that?
That is Lila Boutique.
Lila Boutique, because you
So
used
it's
her
Vanessa
fabric
Gertzen.
too.
We use her fabric, and she is the maker of the chandelier pattern.
Right, and she's got a whole book too.
She does.
But that pattern has just absolutely
Yeah.
taken off.
And
It's
she let
awesome.
us do the tutorial. She
Yeah.
gave us permission, and I wish she had 10 cents for every pattern that
I
was
know, right?
downloaded. You know, I always feel a little bit about it because they're so generous and
Yeah.
they're so willing to share it. And then, so
And it's so fun to see in
It's-
all those colors.
all the colors and different backgrounds and all
Yes.
that. All right, so this is a signature quilt that I did. And so just today, I did a live earlier this morning on out at the museum, out at the Missouri Quilt
Missouri
Museum.
Quilt Museum.
And there is a whole room full of signature quilts
Yeah.
from Missouri, and it's just awesome to see. And this was one I did recently, and it's a family signature quilt. And so we sent strips out to all the family to put their names up on here. And so all of my children and their children all have names on here. And I did leave a few empty spaces for
Just in case.
just in case, And so, that's just how it is. And so, like Ron and I are here in the middle. Here's me, and here's Ron. But this is a really cute way to make a little signature quilt. Very quick and easy, very fun. And I will just put this over here.
And then so for Block Magazine, now we haven't signed this one. This one's a blank for everyone. It's just in case.
Well, I
But
love this fabric.
It's such a cool way to see how just choosing a different fabric really changes the look
Yes.
of the product.
So that's my favorite thing about block is you see it in a different fabric, and look how clear that is. So I love this. So literally, we're taking a square, cutting it in half, putting our strip, and then making 4 flying geese units with 4 corners in it, and you have all these places. So I think this would be a great, people are always trying to come up with things for weddings,
Yes.
baby showers,
Yep.
and all of a sudden you have a record of everyone who was there because their name is signed on it, or maybe you make one and it's for your guild,
Yep.
or
It could be
whatever.
great for a retirement party
Oh,
or
gosh,
family
yeah.
reunion.
And this is, this
I
fabric.
love that fabric line.
Yeah.
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 And even the back, look how cute that is.
I love
orange plaid.
Love the plaid.
Yep.
I didn't think I was going to love plaid when I grew up because I had to wear plaid to school when I was younger. But
Oh, did you know?
turns out I love it.
Turns out we love plaid.
Good story, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so this one is another one that I think is wildly different
Yes.
and fascinating.
Well, so the original was all made out of 30s because it was an actual old quilt that we did this off. This is
Right.
Grandma May's economy block.
Right.
And it was Kate Waltz, who does a lot of our lives. It was her grandmother's, maybe great-grandmother's.
But it's Grandma May.
It was Grandma May. And we called it Grandma May's economy block. And so, of course, I didn't get that kind of fabric. I got this fabric, and let me see what it is. This is Nature's Pace by Robert Kaufman. And, whoops.
Ooh. It's a little heavier because it's backed with minky.
Oh yeah, so you have to look at this back first. So when you quilt cuddle, the pattern shows up beautifully. So here, Caleb, I'm going to show you this so that you can zoom in and show them how the quilting pattern just pops
And
on
it's
it.
so soft.
Grandma May is great grandma.
Is
Oh, great grandma. Okay,
Thank you, Kate.
Thank you, Kate. Anyway, this is what her quilt looked like when Kate showed it to me. I loved it, and I said, I'm going to do a tutorial on that. And this is actually made very close to the same size as Grandma May's, only, of course, it was actually all done in the old 30s prints. And so it's just a gorgeous quilt. So this was my tutorial one. And all of those, they'll link to the tutorials so that you can go see them if you want to.
Yep, it'll be right in your digital issue. So make sure you go to your account and you go into digital downloads, and then your issue will be right
Perfect.
there.
So then this is the one we did for block, and how fun is this? So we changed the background to this limey green color. Look how gorgeous this is. Look how gorgeous this whole all black and white grays fabrics.
It's called Graphics by Island Batik.
Yeah, this is a batik line, FYI, which you don't see a lot of black and white batik lines. Look at that border. That border's gorgeous. I love that fabric. Anyway, this is, I mean, changing the fabric, it just makes all the difference in the world.
And any color you would have chosen for the background for this would have made it a completely different
Right.
quilt, even though it's
Red,
black and white.
purple,
Right.
aqua. Yeah, that's what's fun. Is this is one of those that would make like a great college quilt, you know? So it's one of those where, you know, because it's black and white, it becomes a two-color quilt.
Yeah. Okay. One more set of big quilts to show you. So I think this one's the original.
It is the original.
And
I can't remember what I called it, though.
Boho Blooms.
Boho Blooms. Naming quilts is hard, you guys.
No
It's hard.
joke. This one is in Songbook by Fancy That Design House
Yep.
by Moda Fabrics.
That's actually the fabric that I featured in my Jenny box that last year.
That's right.
So this is that fabric, Boho Blooms. And it's kind of has a, it's very easy, you guys, in case you're wondering.
It's so much easier
If you
than it
ever
looks.
see a tutorial that I've done and you think it looks hard, go watch the video because there's probably a trick.
Yes.
And so this is a beautiful line of fabric, very, just gorgeous, very different. And then the one for the block, we did it a little softer.
Kind of a springy, again, going with that spring organization.
Oh my
This one
gosh,
is
yeah.
called Lavender Market by Northcott.
All right, let's look at Lavender Market. It's got tiny little daisies in the border. Isn't that great? So the yellows and the purples and it's just a whole different look. Just so cool looking, isn't it? Love the little borders. That's a little different. And I love that little daisy. I love daisies anyway, but these are daisies like on chicken wire. It's very cute.
Very cute.
And let's show the back,
Yes.
because the back of this is fun. So it's all these little labely things. Isn't that fun?
Super fun print.
Lavender. Well, it's called lavender. What is it called? Lavender. Oh, wait, I have the tag. Lavender Market.
Lavender Market.
And so it's baskets of lavender and lavenders around biscuits and all the bouquets.
Eau
And,
de Lavande Provence.
oh yeah, I'm not good at the French
I'm
pronunciation.
probably not either. That's okay.
All right.
All right. So those are the big projects. We have a couple of smaller projects to show you too.
We do. I'm going to look at this and make sure that we have told you everything we need to tell you. Oh my gosh, yes. These are the smaller projects.
These are the smaller projects.
So right here, at this very week, at this very day, Minky Kim is in our retreat center, and she is a phenomenal bag maker.
So
Like,
detailed.
So
good.
detailed, so darling. And she is here teaching the girls retreat things, and I'm actually going to go take a class tomorrow afternoon. I'm very excited about
That's
it.
awesome.
Make a little rotary case cover, a tool holder, if you will, and super excited about that because you know, I'm really great at quick and easy, but the detail stuff is really, and once you learn how to do it,
Then you can practice
you
it.
can
and
just
it's-
practice it, and it
absolutely.
becomes better and better.
But it can be fun to stretch in a space that you're not usually in.
So this little bag right here is in block,
Yes.
and it's a panel. I mean, it's not a panel. It's got the pieces.
It's got panels
of fabric.
of fabric. So this is, it's called the Misty Morning Drawstring Bag.
So
and
look.
this is for her collection Misty Morning for Riley Blake.
Yep.
And it's super cute prints. And I actually got to chat with her a little bit earlier today. We're going to have that interview in the digital block as well.
Oh, very cool.
And I asked her, how do you choose your linings? And I thought her answer was really fun. She said, on one hand, it's interesting you ask because I don't usually care. She says, I want to save my pretty fabric for the outside and use my fabric that's maybe more plain on the inside. She's like, but then sometimes the inside's really important and I put a really pretty fun pattern in there. So it's kind of whatever
So I
makes
have
you
to
happy.
tell you, I would love to open up a suitcase and have it be happy fabric inside.
That would be gorgeous.
I would love to open up a purse. We pay a lot of money for purses, and it's just like this
kind of brownish.
Nothing. Stuff inside. Why can't we have a happy cotton inside? And somebody would say,
Exactly.
well, you should make your own bag. I'm like,
Well,
maybe.
and if you do, then you can choose to use a really pretty happy.
Sure. Oh, look at, oh, it's reversible.
So isn't that just the sweetest?
It's very sweet. Yeah. And I love her big stitches around the top here. And probably all that's included in the block.
It is.
Wow.
Whole pattern will be in block.
Look at this yarn too. Nice.
So
What issue of block is this?
this is the April issue, so that's the one that we're working on finishing up right now to
Goes to the
send
printer
out.
pretty soon.
Goes to the printer very soon, and then it heads your way. And that's something I wanted to say is that we talk about it being the April issue. It's usually like the end of April that it wings its way to you. And what's kind of funny is I live here in Hamilton. I got to move here to Hamilton, and I live about 2 blocks from the penny store, and I might be the last one who ever gets my block magazine.
That's so funny.
because
Oh, there's the cover.
because they get mailed out, right? And so that mailer has to send like any other magazine. And so those sometimes take a little bit to get to you. And so they kind of come out in waves. And I always love seeing in the comments section, you know, oh, my block is here. My block's not here yet. I'm waiting.
Like,
and
be patient.
Yes. But this will be the second issue of Volume 9. And if you do subscribe, if you're not already subscribed, but you subscribe before the window before we send this to the printer, we will actually be able to give you the first issue, which will have A, the pattern for the Staccato
okay.
star, and B, some of the other goodies, and you can already start reading today. You
So-
can get that instant download for the digital
Okay.
issue
So if you subscribe, by when? Do we know when? By soon.
by soon.
Then you get the first issue and the second issue?
Yes, because what happens when you subscribe is that you automatically get the most recent issue
Oh, okay.
for free in your digital
Subscribe to
account.
block by March 21st
March
Perfect.
21st.
Perfect.
at 11:59.
It's the day.
So that'll be
11:59. No
I
pressure.
think that's
receive
Monday.
the April issue.
So what happens then is like we say instant. Sometimes it can take like 5 minutes. So instant is pretty instant, but not always like instant. But you will get in your digital downloads that issue from issue 1. So you can start reading that one today and get all those extras and click through and watch
And
the
block
videos
comes out every other month.
every other month.
So it's February, March, April, June, August.
Yes.
That's how it comes out
October,
every other
summer.
month.
So that's how that will work, and you'll get in this next issue then, this will be one of the projects you'll get the whole pattern and some extras for.
Do you know, I haven't taken that test. Actually, I know what kind of a quilter I am. I am a messy quilter. I create in chaos.
Same.
But it has to be, once it gets to a certain messiness, then I have to clean it all up and start making the mess all over again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then,
so.
it's organized chaos, and then it's organized, and then it's organized chaos, and then it's
Yes.
chaos.
Yes.
kind
Yeah.
of what, back and forth.
That's exactly how I go, for sure.
That's fair.
Yeah, that's awesome.
So then there's just a couple more projects I want to show you from the magazine. And then there's one more, let's see, there's one more we have 2 versions of, and then there's one I just have the one. So St. Patty's Day is also this week.
It sure is. And this
And-
is a Celtic knot.
It is.
Lots of luck table runner.
And then-
Kona solid green.
And we thought, what would happen if we used this big, beautiful spring pattern
Floral.
floral
Whoa.
instead? And maybe we use it a little bit longer. Not that you can't use green as long as you like, but how cool is that to see that you can use prints
Yeah.
and it still has that intertwined
Oh, absolutely.
look, and it's super fun.
Okay, I have to show off this quilting. You guys, look at this
Oh my
quilting.
gosh, I didn't even know that was there.
Yeah.
Cute.
So, Caleb, I'm showing it to you. It's got shamrocks and hats. It's the cutest little quilting pattern ever. Isn't that cute? And it's the Celtic knot. And this wasn't a tutorial I did. Is this a
This is one that Misty did.
Misty did? Okay.
And so now there is a larger quilt as well that uses this, but this runner.
Oh, yeah, I did one called merry-go-round.
Exactly.
That's it. All of a sudden, I looked at it, and it all clicked into place.
Yes.
So if you want to make a big quilt out of this, there's one called merry-go-round.
Which looks awesome.
Yeah.
But in that spirit of doing some smaller projects too, we went ahead with the table runner size for this.
Well, I love a table runner, and I have a very long table, so I love
extend
it
it.
when I can just add another block, and make it longer. A lot of times what I'll do too is I will put a solid piece in the very center, and then start my
So
blocks
smart.
out. Because in the solid, in the center, is where you set whatever you're going to set. And if it's like this intricate star, it's like wasted underneath your candle.
Yeah.
So I sometimes just put a big square there in the middle and then build my.
And I super love that. Jenny, I remember you saying that before, and it was such an aha for me to be like, why am I putting all my intricate work in the
Right.
very center of this
Don't put
project?
them in the center.
And I have a round table, so I sometimes will make it a little longer and let it hang off two
Mm-hmm.
sides, or I'll use the square and kind of, you know, make it look like a
Yeah.
diamond or that kind of thing. But I was always putting the intricate part in the middle, and so it's like, oh no, if you
Yeah.
put this
it on
around the
outside.
edge, so much happier. And that actually is kind of one of the cool things about this one.
This is really cute. So what is this one called? This is one
So-
Misty did as well.
It is, and this one is called the
The diamond ring, because it's a ring of diamonds around this great middle, and this kind of quilt, this kind of table runner would be perfect for my table. I mean, it would have to be much longer. My table's probably like 12 feet long.
Well, you have a lot of people who sit there.
It's a big table, but yeah, and so but I love that it's ringed with this intricate work out here, the diamond ring, if you will.
Right, and then once again, this is easier than it looks. So,
So much easier.
You might be
Oh.
like, oh no, there's no way I would ever do this on point.
So it's actually, it's called Seminole piecing.
Yes.
And the thing that's cool about it is that the way Misty does it is basically you're sewing strips together and trimming them off.
Yep.
So it's very simple, and it's just a stunning design.
It is, and
Looks like you worked really hard.
and it's easy to use in lots of prints, lots of solids. The original she did was all solids and kind of a rainbow, but you could do this for every season.
Oh gosh, yes.
And just have
Yeah.
like a whole pile of them.
Well,
I'm-
and honestly, at Christmas, a lot of us have we have stuff we put all the way down our
Yes.
runner, and that way you don't have any of that on your intricate work.
Right, and if you did use the thermal fleece or in the
Oh, yeah.
batting, then you can set your whole Thanksgiving feast on this.
You
as
could.
well.
You
So,
could.
Smart.
snazzy. I'm gonna use that as a segue to this particular sneak peek.
We have a surprise for you today. We have a sneak peek.
So this is our new pattern book,
Our newest book.
and it is called Creating a Quilted Home. It is 25 table runners and toppers.
It is a gorgeous book.
And you might find some of the advice you just heard today
Well, there you
about using your table runners to decorate, but also leaving space, because it's such great advice. So we've
I
taken
love
all
how
of
a new book smells. I can smell the printing on it. I'm like,
brand new. So there's some really fun articles in here about creating table runners and what's maybe some
here,
specific hints.
let's just show this.
Yes.
So this is how we do our ideas when they show up. We just give you a little snippet of everything that's in here, and then we start with this gorgeous.
Isn't that beautiful?
Isn't that beautiful? I mean, the pictures. So first of all, let me just say, I love that we do the bind that it lays flat. I love that we
Yes.
do that. But these are coffee table books, and I mean, they're just beautiful, and we're creating beautiful things, and we're showing you all the different ways to do them. It's just a great book, Creating a Quilted Home.
Yep.
Can you hold up that last runner as well so they can see it?
Oh
Yeah.
yes. Oh yeah.
There we go.
Ah, the diamond ring runner.
The diamond ring runner.
Somebody actually mentioned in my tutorial the other day that said, looks like Jenny has had a diamond upgrade. I have not actually. I got this ring when we were married when we first got married. I had a ring that had diamond dust on a magnifying plate. And then after we'd been married about 20 years, I got a past, present, and future ring, and that's still the ring that I'm wearing. And we've married 41 now. We got it at JCPenney.
Congratulations.
So yeah, no, I haven't got an upgrade. I should ask Ron about that. But I really like my ring. I'm not a big ring wearer, so I really like that it's on there. But isn't this diamond ring is so cute?
It's
and what
beautiful.
a great name.
Yeah,
I mean, naming is hard, and
Naming is
diamond
hard.
ring is perfect.
it is.
I love it. All right.
So I wanted to say too, one more thing about that book is that we have, again, just in the spirit of like what you can get as far as digital extras, we wanted to be able to give you access to videos that do these things. And so while you may have done, you can see here on the cover, if I angle it without the shiny, that is also Grandma May's
Oh yeah.
economy block. it's turned into a table runner here.
Oh, how cool is
So
that?
we wanted to link you to videos that help you learn how to make the block. Even if that video isn't making this particular table runner, you can still learn from Jenny how to make the block and then make this project. And all the patterns are included in here.
Well, and a lot of times, you know, we'll make blocks and then we get busy with something else and that sits as a UFO. But you know, if you have like 3 blocks, it's a table runner,
Exactly.
right? And so literally so many things in here you could make that same way.
Exactly. And then there's one more thing, because you know I always have one more thing.
Because we should.
Because we should. And I had it earlier and then I lost it. So give me 1 second, guys. There is a QR code. And so you may have seen this popping up on your TV screen or that since
I saw one during the Super Bowl.
I was going to say the Super Bowl was a pretty famous one. And so we actually included one in here too. And if you scan this QR code, so you hold your phone over it and have your camera open and scan that code and it'll pop up a link. And if you click on that link, it'll take you to a page where we have all the supplies you need. We have links to your
for
videos.
each project?
We have it all listed in one big page.
Oh, awesome.
And so we want to know how you guys like that and how you will use that. So it's going to look like, if I can, I'm too excited and the book smells too good.
It's true.
Oh, and of course.
Recipes, yes. I did put some recipes in there, yeah.
We have
my fresh strawberry pie. I make
Jenny's
amazing strawberry
favorite.
pie.
Yeah.
You do. It's great.
Yeah. I make it for my birthday, and I used to make like 12 of them because there's a lot of us. And then I saw online on Pinterest that somebody makes what they call a slab strawberry pie. So instead of making all the little pie crusts, you make it in a giant cookie sheet. And I was like,
genius.
And it's so perfect for a family. So I went up to the Amish store where they sell these giant pans, and now I make one big strawberry pie.
Slab
And it
pie.
actually feeds everybody, yes.
That's fantastic. So this is going to be kind of what it's going to look like.
Oh, right here?
Right here. So you'll be able to scan this code. And
I thought they had to be black and white. This one is kind
no, this is all
rainbowy.
colored for our.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Yeah, so it's kind of a cool deal, and it will take you to all the things that you need to make the projects. But of course, the pattern book has all the patterns in it.
Sure.
So you've got everything you need here. But if you want a little extra video support, or you want to just see like, you know, I want to get those clips or something like that, then you can go ahead and scan it.
Oh, that's very
And you
cool.
don't have to worry about like, did I type that email address correctly? Did I type that URL correctly? Now I'm on something where I've got Chuck the Duck saying I typed it wrong, and I don't want that. I want to see this. So we wanted to see how that works. And we're pretty excited about this book in general. Like, it's really fun, and it's so easy to make as something for yourself for every season, something you can make as a bunch of gifts. So
I tend to do that for my children at Christmas time instead of making, well, last year I made everybody a quilt, but usually I make everybody a runner.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's fun.
And I love giving runners too, especially like my nieces and nephews as they graduate from college and they're starting their new homes, and like, here's
Well,
something.
and honestly, I use them on my
your
dresser.
home. Yeah.
You know, I use them a
They
lot
go
more
all
than
over
just
the
tables.
place.
They do.
And they can be lengthened to be a
bed
runner, and all kinds of stuff. So
couch runner.
yeah.
How hard is it to take a table runner and make it bigger, like a quilt or a larger wall?
So what you have to remember about that is that what you're making is a block. And if you make it 3 times, it's a runner. But if you make that 42 times, it is a quilt.
Yeah.
And so it just basically, you know, what we're teaching you is a block. And so when I do a thing, I teach, like I will use a layer cake and I will say, this is the size you get if you use a layer cake, because I want to use it all and I don't want to waste. But in reality, there's 42 blocks there.
Right.
And I could actually make 6 7-block runners out of that. And so just let your mind think about that, because like even with the economy block, you know, I mean, it's a smaller block, so you'll need a few more, but everybody's table is different and everybody's bed is different. Yeah. And some people do just want something across the foot of their bed, and some people want, you know, the whole bed quilt, and some people just want a runner. So do what works for you, but it's pretty easy to.
And that's the thing too, is you can also, like, if you don't, say you have a layer cake, but you know you're only going to use 8 squares.
Right.
You also can just cut that from some yardage and save that layer cake for a bigger quilt.
You know, I was going to say that when we were talking earlier about the organizing part of it, a lot of people are taking their stash and cutting them into 2.5-inch strips.
That's true.
Squares, 5-inch squares, 10-inch squares. And honestly, everything we make is based on a square, and it's based on those measurements because that's what the industry has decided. But if it were up to me, I would do them 3, 6, 9, 12 because all that fits in a yard.
Yes.
And so, that's if I were in charge of the world, which I'm not, but I would do that. And so remember that the blocks I make are with 5 and 10s and 2 1/2s, but they're a block. So literally, you can use any size you want. If you have a whole stack of 8-inch squares, don't cut them down to 5. Make the block a little bigger, and you won't have to make as many. So
Yes.
just.
And I'm the self-confessed queen of make the quilt bigger. I think
Me
that's
too.
that's kind of a problem for me. So I've often, I think there was one quilt that you had made in 5-inch, the charm squares
Yes.
on point. And I was like, what happens if I just make it with the
And we were
10-inch
so
squares?
stunned. We did a whole tutorial.
We
on
did,
that,
and
yeah.
it was really fun to see it's not any more complicated to
No.
use a bigger piece. So
Or
and you-
smaller.
Or smaller. You said you wanted to kind of think about what would look like if that's smaller. So part of that could be use a different size pre-cut, and you'll see how exponentially larger or smaller that project can look too.
Absolutely. Annie, what questions do you have for us?
Yeah.
We've been talking a long time.
Can you mix older calico fabrics with new ones?
Why not?
Yeah.
You can mix anything you want.
Once upon a time, they mixed all the things. So
There we go. Can tops be donated and finished by someone?
There are a lot of charities that will take tops and then, like within a quilt guild, and then they will in turn finish them and give them to whoever. So I would actually start with your local quilt shop, asking that information. Go to a local guild, ask that information, because there are, guilds are always like, this year we're going to make, and they have some number of how many they're going to make, and so that's always a good. So I buy a lot of antique tops that are not quilted, and I buy them because I think I could do a tutorial out of this, and then I just put them, these old antique tops, I will just put them on the quilt machine and quilt them, because once they're quilted, they will last another 100 years. And so, or at least another couple of generations. So I do that often. I don't donate them. I keep them in my house in a stack. Yes, I'm a bit of a quilt hoarder.
That's all right.
I bet you didn't know that.
That's shocking. I'm
Shocking.
shocked.
I'm the girl who makes at least one quilt a week for a tutorial and has been
That's
doing
a
that
lot
for
of
14
quilts.
years.
That's a
Do that
surprise.
math.
Jenny, do you think you'll ever do a wedding ring quilt MSQC style?
People ask me all the time if there's an easy way to do that. And it's not that it's hard. It really isn't hard. It just takes, because we do the drunkard's path, and the drunkard's path is a curved piecing just like the wedding ring is. It just takes a little more time. So there's no way to really do it quick.
Right.
But it is a great quilt. I mean, I have a friend who, that was the first quilt she ever made. And I felt sorry for her after I learned this, and she felt sorry for herself once she realized what was happening. But still, it's just one of those where it's, if you can sew straight from here to here, you can make a wedding ring quilt. It just takes a little more effort, a little more time. And, and I'm still, Natalie, we have one that hangs, and we always look at it and be like, what if no, that wouldn't work. But now there is So Kind of Wonderful Girls. They actually have a ruler set that is called the Quick Curve Ruler. And they've done a quilt called Metro Rings.
Yes.
And it is actually, so you actually sew jelly roll strips together, and then you cut the curve out of them. So the pieces don't curve.
Right.
But they are still pieced, and then they finish it off with a square in the corner, which really looks, it's the
It gives it the
closest
look.
easy thing I've seen to doing that. And I know they would love it if I did a tutorial on that, but I have to actually do that first.
That's fair.
Yeah. What else, Annie?
What is the backing on your signature quilt? Would be great on a Ukraine quilt.
It sure would, wouldn't it? So the backing on that, I mean, we are just, so sad about what's happening over there. So the backing on this one is phenomenal. And of course, it's a great blue and yellow fabric. And I'm telling you what, if I had my way, I would wrap that entire country up in this quilt. I mean, it just makes me so sad. But yes, this would make a great backing for a Ukraine
Do
quilt.
you know what that line is? Does it
Oh, I
say
do.
on the label?
Wait for it. There will be a label,
It's always the last corner you look.
right? Or, here it is, the last corner. It's called Sunshine by Debbie Beavis for Robert Kaufman. So that line is called Sunshine. Debbie Beavis regularly comes out with blue and yellow, and she regularly comes out with these, but you know, I did blue and yellow because my family is Swedish, and that's the colors of the Swedish flag, but it is also the colors of Ukraine as well.
Do you add batting to quilts with cuddle backing?
I do. Like them very fluffy. I like a fluffy quilt. It's like a weighted blanket when you're done with it. Literally, you know, they're very nice.
Will you offer quilting services for Minky?
Yes.
Yes.
You can absolutely quote cuddle on when you send it
Now,
in.
let me just say, Cuddle and Minky are two different brands.
That's fair.
So Minky is one brand, Cuddle is another brand, and it's kind of like Kleenex. You know, it's like the one name for all the things, but they are two different, you know, types of fluffy fabric. I like it. I like
Will the signature quilt pattern be in block?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that limey green
Yes.
on the black and white will be the one that is featured in this issue of Block
Actually,
magazine.
that's not true. The signature quilt is this one right here.
Oh, that's Grandma May's. You're right.
This
Thank
one,
you.
This one is the signature, the
This
pattern,
is the signature quilt pattern.
and this is the pattern for the signature quilt that I made with the blue and yellow.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Sorry. Thank you for catching that.
Well, normally I'm not the catcher. I'm like, okay, that sounds good. You know, what else?
What is the smallest size scrap you keep?
Ooh.
I would say the smallest size I keep is a 2.5.
Yeah.
2.5 inch square, and because they're easy to cut down, right? You know, if you need something tinier. And
Is that true when you're doing your crumb piecing too, though?
no, so crumbs are just
Anything.
and they're not. So I don't cut those into anything. I just keep pieces, and then once I sew them, I cut them. So no, that's true. I do much smaller piecing in crumbs. What else?
What is your favorite ruler?
My favorite ruler?
Yep.
Is the one I made, of course. Let me see if it's in here.
Is it up here?
No. Oh, yes. So I made these rulers like this. Now, rulers are a brain thing, you guys. So look at your tools, because you will have a favorite one. And your favorite tool is the one that makes most sense to your brain. And so one of the reasons I did a 5 by 15 is because a layer cake is 10. So when I lay this on the edge, it'll cut right exactly in the middle. And if I want to cut them diagonally, you can't. A 12-inch ruler doesn't do it. So this is 5 by 15, and I can cut diagonally because I do a lot of my half square triangles like that. So this ruler, I generally use tools that only do one thing. Now I can do a lot with this ruler, but I wouldn't have this ruler and then the printout for something else
You wouldn't
because
have extra markings.
it's too many markings for me. It's almost like, you know, when you're testing for color blindness and the dot goes through the colors and you lose the dot at a certain point if you're colorblind. That's how I am with rulers. Like we have a mat, and it has every half square, and for me it's like walking through a forest of lines. I have no idea where the inch marks are on that. It doesn't make sense to my brain. And so I actually came out with these rulers because there's very little marking. So prior to Missouri Star, my favorite ruler was a 6 by 12 like this, and it was painted on the back. The markings were painted on, and all the paint had worn
The
off.
rub off. Yeah.
And I still used it because I knew where the lines were supposed to be, because I think they were on the edges. But literally, when you get ready to go to a retreat or you're going to go sew with your friends, there are a couple of tools you always grab. Look at those tools, because those are the ones that make sense to your brain.
Yep.
Liz, what are your favorite sewing tools?
Ooh. Actually, this ruler is also my favorite for the same reason. I love that it goes diagonally across the layer cake.
And we have a little one for the charm pack,
yes.
too.
And what's really funny is that because I kind of learned to cut from you, I'm right-handed but still cut from the wrong side.
Oh, how interesting.
Because that's
That
how
is
you cut.
interesting.
I love the same rotary cutter, which is the Ulfa.
The splash, that's my
Splash.
favorite, too.
And then I have some Karen K. Buckley scissors that are super, super sharp.
Super sharp.
And they were like a Christmas gift that I super love. So some splurgy things. I did one day finally get my Oliso iron.
Oh, nice.
And I super love that. But also, for me, what works for my brain is also trying something a couple of times. And then I have a love for like metallic and shiny threads. So I like metallic, and I am totally a magpie. I am such a magpie. If it's shiny, I loves it. So fabric, thread, if it's shiny, and so I had to learn to use that. And so there's some tools with that too. And one of those is a thread stand next to your machine.
Oh, yeah.
And so once I started using that, I was hooked because it just made it easier for all those like difficult threads. They just have more room before they get into your machine. And it just made everything so much easier for me.
Oh, interesting.
So,
I know I used to always sew with whatever the biggest spools I could find, which they don't fit on top of your machine. So I would put them in a mason jar and just put my thread up over the top. And people are always writing in and going, "What thread holder is Jenny using?" I'm like, "It's a mason jar." And they were just like, "That's got to be something more." No, it's a canning jar. It's what I had in the cupboard. You know?
exactly.
It just cracks me up.
can get yours.
I just make do. And then I think Ron built me one, and it like has a brick of stainless on the bottom of it because he's a machinist, so he can do all that metal work. And literally, it's like it is not going anywhere. And it could be a weapon if it needed to be, if I could lift it. You know.
All right, so
I
that
mean,
might be in the next Misty story.
yeah, maybe. Oh, I hope not. I know I told Hillary, you can't make Jenny be the bad guy ever. My daughter Hillary writes the mysteries for Block.
It's true, and those are super fun, and those are episodic in the.
Yeah,
in
they
the
are.
issues as well.
You have one after the other after the other. Yeah. What else, Annie?
How many issues of Block does the Quilt Along run?
So it
Just for the
runs-
year.
Just for the year. So
Yes,
there's
there's
6
six.
issues. So they'll
6
start in kind of the calendar year, right? So the 2022 whole year will be the Staccato Stars. So great question.
Do you think you'll be doing anything with the Kona color of the year?
I think I already have.
I think you might have.
Yeah, I think we always do. We do at least one. Sometimes we do a couple of smaller projects as well. But you did one. I'm trying to remember what it's called. We'll have to look
I know
it
I
up.
can't. So once I do a tutorial and it's filmed, it is literally out of my brain.
So fair.
And a lot of times what happens is by the time I film, because I'll film like, 6 things at a time, by the time I film, I have to remember how I did it because I'm on to all these other things. And then that doesn't come out for 6 weeks.
Right.
And so then I'm like, people will call and they'll be like, "Could you come to our guild and teach us?" And I'm like, "Sure." And I go watch the tutorial.
You have to watch your own tutorial.
I have to watch my own
That's
tutorial.
totally fair. And so that's one of the things. Like I know Kona Color of the Year comes it's kind of released in December.
Yeah.
And so usually in January is when we'll have the Missouri Star quilt
Yes.
that is featuring that Kona Color.
I just have to keep asking me
Yes,
questions.
please do.
Is there going to be another triple play book?
That's a great question.
I hope so.
We're looking at what new books to do. So when you have things that you would like to see us do, let us know.
Just pepper them with begs. Just beg them.
Just tell us what you'd like to
Yeah.
see.
I'd love to do one every year. I mean, that's because we do that many quilts. There's 3 in each quilt, and it would make a book a year. And I think people would love that they're all in one issue, but I just get an opinion. So,
Well, and some of the things too are that, books are something that it takes us a little bit of time to put together. And because we do put a lot of time into making sure we've got beautiful photography and show you all the steps. And so,
gorgeous.
right? And so we also remake many of the quilts. And so there's a lot that goes into
Yeah,
how that happens.
it's not just
So it's
plopping
not
it
just
in.
as simple as that part, but tell us what you'd like to see. Tell us if you'd like to see books that have just all the biggest quilts or all the tiniest quilts or whatever you would like to see. Part of what came out of creating this table runner book, creating a quilted home, was the idea that folks wanted to see, you wanted to see table
Smaller
runner
projects, yeah.
So let us know what you'd like to see. And we've got again, 14 times 50 is a lot. So there's many, many projects to inspire us, to help inspire you.
Yes, loads of projects.
Is creating a quilted home available now?
It is.
Today's the day.
Today is the day. We just got this. We didn't
Yeah.
even know if we were going to have it in time to show.
That's why it still smells
And-
like it's fresh off the printer.
I know, I'm like-
because it is.
Yeah, there's something about that.
It is.
But yeah, it is available right now.
Yep.
It's beautiful.
Thank
it is.
you.
Thank you. It's awesome.
Got to touch it earlier.
Yeah,
One of those nice, it's a very nice book.
very
It
nice.
is.
All right, so what else? Anything else urgent? Anybody writing to you in all caps? Yelling at you, poor Annie. Be nice to Annie.
On the sew along, what is the sewing level?
I would say it's really beginner level. Like anybody can, and then you can also spice it up if you're feeling like you want to stretch yourself. Like you can add more to it. You can start adding appliques on top of things and start quilting in metallic threads. And I wouldn't know anything about that, but it is.
Liz is
it's a
definitely
very
has
easy
an active
access.
imagination. I'm just like, oh, I finished that block. Yay, yay me. I get myself that, and Liz is like, how many different things can I do to this block?
Yeah, I will quilt it to death. It's
Yeah.
a thing.
All right, so what else?
Yes, you can buy this book on MSQC.
Yes, you
on
can.
the website now.
It is. It is.
Oh, okay. Now the Christmas box info.
Oh.
Christmas box
have
info.
Christmas
So
Can you announce that?
the Christmas box we did announce it actually in live this morning, and it actually
Okay.
it
Right.
is open for pre-sale in April. I think the
Cool.
first week of April.
That's exciting.
And that will be pre-sale, and you can pay for it all, pay for half, however you want to do it. I mean, they'll have different things to do, but just watch for that. That will happen in the first week of April.
Okay.
And then
It's not an April Fool's joke.
it is not. It is not. And we decided to do pre-sale always because Misty and I announced it, 2 years ago. We announced it, and they
remember.
were sold out within 20 minutes.
remember.
So
I was
now it's like
actually-
everybody who wants one, we can get
Which
one.
is so good because I remember sitting where Annie is when you guys announced it, and it was within like 20 minutes it was sold out, and we were like, oh.
Yes,
So-
because people are working, and and a lot of people want this. And I have to tell you, I get the sweetest mail about the box.
That's great.
I mean, I don't know what it is, but it's so special. So actually today, Ron and I were dressed up in Santa Claus, and we're doing a few little photos about that Christmas box. So
That's
that
awesome.
was kind of fun. I mean, I looked at him today, and I'm just like, you are just such a gem to do these things with me. I mean, that man, he'll do whatever I need him to do. He does. He's just sweet as can be.
Pre-sale starts on April 5th.
April
Okay.
5th, the pre-sale starts.
Excellent. That's news to me. Even.
So
That's
grab your
exciting.
box, yeah.
Yay.
Even the box this year is so cute.
Yes.
Oh my gosh, it's so cute. So we actually, we showed it. Well, no, we haven't showed it yet.
Okay.
All right. Oh, Annie says, shh. So secret. It's so cute.
Awesome. Awesome.
Anything else?
Do you sell left-handed scissors?
Of course we do.
Absolutely.
Left-handed here. Yep, our camera guy's raising his hand. I mean, I'm not the only one.
That's true. One other thing I wanted to point out here is that we've got the fabric markers,
Oh yeah,
and
for their signature
for the
quilt.
signature quilt, and so these are also available from Missouri Star. There's also a black 2-pack, but we've got a series of videos from Amy Latta, who's on screen now, showing how to do a faux calligraphy and a whimsical print. And we just loved that she took our fabric markers and showed us how to make gorgeous quilt labels and just ideas to get us started. But these would also be great for signature quilts, and that there's a color pack means you can kind of pick the color that goes with your fabric.
Sure, because if it's a batik quilt, you don't necessarily want whatever color on it, and if
Right.
it's a Civil War quilt, you don't necessarily want hot pink or whatever. So
Exactly.
yeah, it's a nice little color pack, and they're very good. I actually tested them and soaked them to see if they would, and we sent a few back because we're looking for something that's really, really good.
And one hint, we did see some folks, if you're hesitant, if you kind of hold it there, it will start to run a
bleed,
little,
yeah.
and that's because you're holding it on fabric, and so fabric wants.
Yeah, it's made to
do that.
just write with.
So you want to just write fluidly.
And I find that if you put it on a softer surface, it works better for me.
Absolutely.
So like I generally use my wool mat, and I'll just put my thing on there, and then I'll just sign it on there, and it works really good.
So we've got that, and we also have links to Amy Latta's videos in the magazine as well. So I wanted to just point out the digital issue one more time. And as Jay said, I get to work on Block Magazine now, and the digital part is something I'm really passionate about and very excited about. So I'd love to get your feedback on how you like it, how you use it. We've packed it with lots of extra goodies, and we know that sometimes digital is the only option if you're outside the U.S. and you want to have a digital subscription. It is, like I said, 5-minute instant.
Yeah,
but
available
it's
right then.
instantly available, and so it releases when the new issue comes out. It'll release the same day as it gets mailed out. So
Oh, nice.
sometimes you'll even get it in your account a few days before your physical copy shows up in your mailbox if you're here in the U.S. But the digital only subscription is also available. So
And a little cheaper than the regular.
just a little bit, but it's interesting because we have packed so many extra goodies into it.
I know.
and it's
So
also a
at
little
Christmas
cheaper,
they
which has
had
been great.
the cover was
Yes.
what do they call it? There's a
It was
word.
an animated.
Yeah, I had an anime. Like our sleigh took off. Ron and I
Yeah.
got in a sleigh. We walked out, and that was the cover of digital.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, here they have it right here. Look at this. So this is digital block, and I mean this is not happening on the real cover, on the the one that you
Right.
hold in your hands.
But how fun.
How fun is that? Yes, so they redid the whole stage in the theater with this. And then watch, here we go.
I love it.
It was very fun, very fun.
So there's lots of extras, again, in digital. You've got extra patterns, you've got kind of bonus videos, you've got links
it's
that
well worth
extend
it.
pieces, and you can click directly from there. So, for example, if you'd like to learn more about the foster program that the inmates are working to make quilts for foster children in that restorative justice program, you'll be able to click that link and read more just from the magazine.
Oh, that's very cool. That's very cool. That's awesome.
So there's awesome, awesome stuff.
Well, that's block for April.
Yeah.
Lots of things going on, you know. Yes. Oh,
Real quick before we end, we have so many questions about what the Christmas box is. Can you just explain it real quick?
Just what it is.
yes, I can.
Excellent.
So, because I'm Swedish, we love Advent calendars, and so I actually did a box one year that had 25 gifts in it. I curate them myself. They're like my favorite things and things I think you'll like. We've learned some things along the way. Like the very first year, I think I had some things that had lavender in it, but there are people who are allergic to scents, so we don't do that anymore. But it's not just sewing things. It's things I love and things I hope you'll love. And so it's gotten quite popular. And so I literally curate 25 gifts. So you have a present to open every single day. They're all wrapped individually. They come in this box, and it's an Advent box, 25 days of Christmas. And I know there are a lot of letters I get, like from people who maybe they're single, they've never bought, they don't do really gifts, and all of a sudden they have this gift, and they send me a picture of their tree with all their gifts underneath. We had a lot of letters last year where their husband had purchased this for them, and then they lost them to COVID. And so every day they opened a gift. They have ones where I got one today, and she's like, I opened one every day. And my husband was so into it. He'd say, have you opened your gift? You know, he was right there wanting to know what was happening. And that's how Ron is. He's like, did you open your gift today? You know, and I curated them, but I forget what day. Yeah, and so I try to put a couple of projects in there, but then there's always a lot of really fun things that everybody just loves the box.
Yeah, and
so that's the Christmas box.
What's really cool about it, Jenny, is it's things that you might not buy for yourself,
right,
but you're delighted to get. And even if there are a few things that you're delighted to pass on, you've still got something.
Yeah, not everybody loves everything, but it's always a good enough gift that you can pass it on. Our 25-day gift last year was a clock, and it's just so darling. And I don't know if we sell that. Generally, we don't sell what's in the box. We don't sell until way after the box releases, and then we might put it in like our next year gift guide or something like that. But the Christmas box is very special. We pay as much attention to the packaging as we do to what's inside.
That's why the box is still a secret.
I know. And this year's box is so cute, you know. And so anyway, it's just a lot of fun, and it's something I really enjoy doing, and I feel like it's a way for me to give back to all you guys, because you know it's something you may not buy for yourself, but something I love. And there's a video attached to each gift, so I tell you why I do it, and then I show you either how to use it or what I use it for, or how to make the project with it. Yeah. So you get your own little Christmas videos, 25 of those as well.
Which is awesome.
It's very fun. It's very, very fun. So I hope that explained it.
Yep.
A lot of love for the Christmas clock last year.
I know. I have that clock in my studio.
It's so cute.
We have a great buyer, Abby. And sometimes I'm just like, I can't believe the things she gets, and I'm just like, you hit it out of the park. You know, she presents all these things to me, and then I find things and I send them to her, and you know, we go back and forth. And when we finally get that list set up, it's just like, you know, it just feels like
Angel chorus.
Yes, angel chorus is definitely right. Yeah.
Awesome.
So anyway, well, are we good for the night? All right. Well, we hope you guys enjoyed tonight's Block Live with Liz and I.
And we're very excited for you to check out this issue. If you're not a subscriber yet, please do subscribe. If you are, go check out your digital issue and then come tell me how you like it.
Yeah, because she's the one who does lots of that stuff. Okay. The digital queen. Anyway.
Thank you.
Anyway. We've loved doing this tonight. We hope you have a wonderful week, and we will do this Block Live in 2 months.
That's right.
So it'll be June when we do it again, and we'll see you then. Bye, guys. Have a great night.